Hello and welcome to Life by Us. I'm Aysha.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are so excited to have our very first in-person, in-studio guest. It is none other than my little twin, the guy who was born 6 years after me. But we have my little brother, Aston Welch. Aston, how are you?
6 years and 22 days.
Yes. To be exact.
Yes, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am on the heels of celebrating a birthday. That's why you're in town in the first place.
Exactly. Yes, had to make a little drive from Dallas. Nothing too hard.
Right.
You know, I was going to say we had another in-person guest, but he just left, Mr. Mowgli.
We did, yes.
did.
If you are watching us on YouTube, we did have Midamode, as we like to affectionately call him. Mowgli was in frame. So if you are a cat lover and you're listening to audio only, go jump over to the YouTube. Speaking of, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Life by Us. That's Life B-I-Us. As well as anywhere you listen to audio podcasts, make sure you go subscribe to Life by Us. We really appreciate all the people subscribing, all the people listening. It means the world because we're just having fun talking about our life.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah. So we have quite a bit to discuss today. Let's see. Okay. Well, first, for the listeners, so they can get a little bit more comfortable with who you are, tell them a little bit more about yourself. What's your age? Like let's throw it back to the AOL days.
ASL.
Yes. ASL. I don't even know if you know what that is.
I don't.
You don't know?
We are showing our age. So let me explain. So back in the day, we would be on chat rooms. Too young to be on chat rooms, mind
Absolutely.
you. I was on preteenchat.com.
No, I was just on the AOL chats.
I was also there. But so like on preteenchat.com, for example, you would just chat with strangers. And so you'd say ASL, and then you'd be like, I'm 22, I'm a female, I'm from Houston.
Oh, wow.
So that's ASL, age, sex, location.
And when you were too young to be on there, you were saying, like, let's say I was 15, I was actually saying 19, female, Georgia.
Just lying about everything but your gender.
Just had no business,
Absolutely not.
business on there.
So
but
it's good I
ASL
don't
was
know
like
about
like an icebreaker. Like
Right.
let's set the playing field. Age,
Okay.
sex, location.
And you know what this sounds just like? When you're in college and it's the first day of classes and everyone's like, okay, go ahead and tell us your name, your major, your favorite color, and a fun fact about you. That's
I hate the fun
always like the
fact.
first day of college. And so
What's your fun fact?
my fun fact, I usually say that I can play 5 or 6 instruments. That's usually what I say.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. I play the piano, can play trumpet, trombone, euphonium. What's my last one? Trumpet, trombone, piano, euphonium.
Help him
Maybe
out.
tuba. Oh, and tuba, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the brass, almost all the brass.
Okay, low
instruments.
brass.
I know, right? For real. Cannot play French horn.
But not the French one. I was about
Cannot
to
play
say.
French horn.
The one instrument we both can play. So, okay, yes. How old are you? Where do you live? What do you do for a
Yes.
living? What do you like to do?
Absolutely. So my name is Aston. I'm 27, turning 28 in a couple of days. The end of the month, 24th. Keep an eye on it. I live in Dallas, Texas. Yes, I'm 6'1". I love to work out. What I do for work, I'm a manager in finance, so do a lot of client solutions, stuff like that.
He's not a finance bro, though.
Thank you. I'm an operations bro that works in finance. I'm an ops bro that works in finance. That's me for sure. Things I like to do, I love eating. I'm a really big foodie. I love playing sports, love watching sports. Huge sports guy. Really women's sports, really, because I love volleyball, women's basketball. I do keep up with the swim team at UT. I keep a lot up with a lot of women's sports, to be honest. But yeah,
No, that's right.
yeah.
What a king. We love men that love women,
Yeah.
Period.
you know? Just love women's existence, right?
Exactly.
That we can exist in the world, we
Yes.
can do things,
And that y'all are great at things.
we can be talented.
Yeah.
You know, it's the bar is on the floor. It truly is. But we appreciate that about you. But yes, speaking of women doing hard things, I did want to, last week we talked about high rocks, which we have since convinced Aston to potentially do high rocks soon.
No, he will.
Oh,
Not
I will.
potential. He will.
I will.
I don't want to put
Absolutely.
too much pressure. And so since we recorded last week, we were able to go and spectate. So we spectated Owen from Survivor 43, and he competed with Cassidy's brother. So Cassidy was on Survivor 43 as well, as has been on the challenge. So we were able to spectate them, and it was so fun.
So much fun.
And such a good way to like stretch out our legs because we were still so sore from the day before. And I wanted to shout out my mom who spectated for us and did an amazing job. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you would have seen my coverage, like the footage that I put out from the race. My mom shot most of that on my phone, and she did a great job. Spectating is not easy. You have to find people. We don't have trackers on to know, oh, they're about to come in here. Now you got to keep track, like, okay, I think they're on their second lap. They're coming in at station 3. It's a full-time job.
It is.
So
Yeah, you gotta lock in.
yes. So shout out to the spectators, the High Rock spectators out there, because it's no easy feat. And so, yeah, we were able to get a lot of good footage for Owen and Casey, and it was so fun.
I had a blast spectating. Arguably, I had more fun spectating.
I think that's very fair to say.
I think I'm scaring Aston from doing high
No,
rocks.
I said, wait.
Yeah, look, we actually need to move on from this before we talk about it. No, spectating is fun, because especially after you've already competed, because you're like, oh, I'm so glad this ain't me.
Right.
Wow.
But it's so fun to see what people are capable of. But yeah, I can't wait to see if we're in the future talking about your High Rocks experience.
Oh, you absolutely will. You will. I do, especially seeing you do it twice now. It's very motivating. It does push me to want to be able to do it. Because you are like one of my biggest role models. A lot of the things that you do always pushes me to want to do like that or even better. So definitely seeing you do that pushes me, especially how involved I am in fitness already.
Yes,
Yeah,
you are so strong.
definitely. Oh, thank you.
Aston's, I don't know if you've seen his arms, his back. This man is a beast, and he's been so consistent in the gym. How have you found that consistency? Like, what was there something that has happened within your 20s that motivated you to be like, I'm about to be so consistent in the gym?
I think what really pushed me at first was graduating from college. When I graduated from UT, I realized, okay, I have a different routine now. I have a different set of responsibilities now. And so not going to class, not going to org meetings and all these different things, I was like, well, what is a way I can create more structure for my own day-to-day? And I kind of just fell into it. I was like, hey, let's try to do a couple of workouts here and there. And I started at home. I was like, let me just do some push-ups, sit-ups, things like that. See how I can just get my body moving every day. Once I moved on from all the at-home workouts, I realized, wait, I want to do more. Because it became more fun, and I started seeing a lot of results from just the at-home workouts of doing push-ups, doing pull-ups, things like that. And I do believe results are addicting. And once I started getting those results, I said, wait, I can get even better than this. And so I started going to the gym, and that's when I truly fell in love. When I got my first gym membership, oh yeah, I fell in love.
I really appreciate you being addicted to results as opposed to other things.
I think
Oh yeah.
That you could get addicted to.
I'm still waiting to fall in love with fitness.
It's always it's always one of those things where I'm the most motivated when I am training for something. So it does inspire me that you are able to do that as just general life motivation, as opposed to, oh, I have this competition coming up, or I have this race coming up that I need to prepare for.
Right.
You just do it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to tap into.
Same, because I've done all these crazy things with the marathons and the half Ironmans, and I've signed up just to stay in shape, because if I didn't have a race on the horizon, I would just be horizontal.
Exactly.
Horizontal.
Yes.
That's so true.
That's what helped us stretch out our legs when we were sore the day after High Rocks, was we were just going to be horizontal, but then we had to go spectate, We didn't have to go. We
wanted
to
to.
go. So we went to go spectate, and that really helped so much.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I do know that really was pushing me as well with the results is that I knew I wanted my body to look better. And so I was pretty skinny most of my life, because I was a very fat baby. Came out the womb 9 pounds. So I was very fat. And then
imagine little 6-year-old Asia trying to pick up this big old baby.
Right, 10 pounds. And so as I slimmed out, I was just so skinny all of my years, and I just knew I wanted to get bigger, I wanted to get better. And a quote that I found during college is something that I still remember to this day, because I feel like it's applicable in every area of my life. The quote says, in order to be something that you've never been, you have to do things that you've never done. And so I understand if I want to be this big dude like with muscles, I can't keep doing what I've been doing the past 20 years of me being skinny. So I have to do something different. I have to change it. And I use that quote in a lot of different areas of my life as well. So,
man, I love that.
Me too. I need to steal that. Write it down, make it my phone background.
Oh yeah, for real. Put a sticky note on it on your mirror. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
exactly
great. A good reminder.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm gonna write it down. Because my quote that I try to live by is, a day without laughter is a day wasted. And that's not as motivating. It's just...
It's very joyful, though. It keeps joy in your heart. Yeah, it keeps you joyful.
But you know what that brings us into? Our next segment. What's the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
So, you and I went to Atlanta for the Survivor watch party at the Ron Clark Academy. And there were 50 plus Survivor players there, and as well as about 800 people who had paid to come to the watch party. So it was a huge crowd of people. I knew I was going to have the opportunity to meet people I have not met before. And the one person that I met that I have not ever met before, and it was a bucket list item, was I met the Suri Fields.
Oh, yes.
If you have watched Survivor, you know Suri. If you've watched Australian Survivor, you know Suri. If you've watched The Traitors, you know Suri. If you happen to stumble upon Snake in the Grass, then you know Suri.
If you watch Big Brother.
Big Brother, yes.
You know Suri.
Right.
If you watch Big Brother 25, you know Suri Fields. So what was funny to me was, for me, it's been blown up in my head. Like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna meet Suri. I gotta have my elevator speech ready. I'm Asia. I was on Survivor 47, so I went up to her. I was like, hey Suri. I was like, I'm Asia. I was on Survivor 47. She said, Asia, I know who you are. So therefore, I was speechless moving forward, because I thought I was having this whole build up to meeting her was I was going to have to introduce myself. Lo and behold, she knows who I am. So I was just thrilled about that, and I hugged, and I kept laughing about it the rest of the trip. I was like, can you believe Suri said?
Right.
So that was my funny.
She also called you pretty.
She did. Yes. So I met her, and then I had moved on. I got interrupted by Jag of all people, who said hi to Suri at that moment. And so then later I wanted to get a picture, and so then I was like, oh hey, can I get a picture? And so she's like, oh yeah, of course. She's like, you're so pretty. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Like, thank you.
So that was my funny / happy moment of the week. What about you?
Well, now that you told that Cerise story, I feel like I have to tell my Ethan story.
Okay.
So at this event, I met Ethan Zahn from Survivor Africa, the winner, season 3. And Ethan was like my favorite as a kid. I had a big crush on him because obviously, have you seen the man? And so we met him, and I guess the thing that comes to my mind is I need to tell Ethan that I had a crush on him when I was a kid. So I said, Ethan, I had the biggest crush on you when I was a kid. And he says, well, how do you think I'm doing now? I said, phenomenal. You look great. You look great. And so, yeah, I don't think I needed to tell him, but my soul needed to tell him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We love Ethan. He was sweet. Very sweet man.
Hey, what was your funny moment of the week?
I think that's funny because I feel like
we laughed.
It's right. Jeez. Well, because I feel like this segment is starting to turn into the roast of Asia, so I feel like I had to say something that's slightly embarrassing about myself. You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Thank you. You're so thoughtful. Aston, did you have a moment this week that just like made you hee hee ha ha?
Or you can say your favorite.
This is so silly. I do have a TikTok that I can't stop thinking about since I watched it. The fact that y'all are talking about celebrities, I'm talking about a TikTok, is kind of disparity, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. The TikTok that I saw that was just so funny to me was, it's just so unserious. It was this girl kind of talking to a crowd of people in the street because the people in the street were fighting and they got done fighting, and she was saying, hey, this is not how you're supposed to be acting. This is not like the ghetto, the streets. This is not what you want. The hood, this is not what you want. The streets are a bad place. And the girl next to her interrupted her in the middle of her little motivational speech. And she was like, the streets killed me. I'm like,
Wait,
what? Girl, you're right here. So, that video was just so funny to me, and I'm constantly saying stuff like that.
And like you just said that,
right? You're right here though.
That brings me to a question, which I think is it's kind of like a theory of mine. I've been talking a lot about theories this week on various podcasts. Okay. But do you send people TikToks? You as a man, do you send people TikToks that you find is funny, or do you send it to them because you think they would find that it's funny?
Me as a man, I'm going to send you a TikTok because I feel like it's either applicable to your life, or I feel like you would laugh at this because it's niche and it's something that is very applicable to you.
Okay.
I don't think I'm sending you something that I think is funny. That's what my reposts are for. That's what I repost for. If something is just super funny and I'm like, oh, this is eating me up, I repost it. But if it's not, I only send things to people if I know, like, oh, this is used so much, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that because that's not the case always. Because I think, like, it's been this topic of conversation online of, like, girls will say their boyfriends are sending them things that they're like, okay, I don't get it. But it's because their boyfriend found it hilarious. But then they're like, why aren't you sending me something that
I would?
Because I'm funny. Right. Like, I feel like I'm aligned that line. I think along that line of thinking of, I'm going to send you something that I think you would find funny.
Mm-hmm. I think I sent, especially you, TikToks that I find that we both would think are funny. Like, not the ones where, like, because I stumble upon some, I'm like, oh, Asia would think this is funny, but I don't send you those.
And I don't send you things that only I think is funny. I just show them to you.
Right. And then I'm just like,
because I know, I'm like, if I send this, I'm not gonna get the joy of your reaction whether you didn't find it funny or not. And more often than not, you're like, because it's usually like AI animal dancing.
Oh, Asia.
I think those are so funny.
Those are so
a little lion.
The next time you send me one of those, I'm gonna tell Owen on you. Please don't.
You are outrageous. Not the animal dancing video.
Right. So another thing that us three have in common, our love, or I guess is our love for women's basketball.
Yes.
And at the time of recording this, we have the national championship today. But we had a few upsets this week in the Final Four of the NCAA Women's National Tournament.
I think it's safe to say all of our hearts are broken at the loss of UT.
Yes, the Texas women's basketball team lost to UCLA. It was not something I expected to happen. No. I didn't think it was in the realm of possibility.
I didn't either, but I think that's kind of the beauty of the tournament. A lot of things happen that you aren't expecting. Players are going to play the way you're not expecting, especially like South Carolina. They have a killer starting five, but guess who showed up? Their number 8 player, the player who's third to rotate in, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's so cool, being able to have these random players step up when it matters. But it does suck that our stars at Texas kind of folded a little bit.
Yeah. I think what I realized or like noticed was that all of the star players on like all 4 teams had like horrible shootings. Like, I don't know, was there something wrong with the rims? Because like nobody was on except for like maybe Lauren Betts, but that's because she's shooting from the paint.
Exactly. She's at the rim.
Yeah, she's at the if you can't just put it in the rim at that point, it's 6'7".
Right.
But no, that I mean Gino complained about that during the Sweet 16 was that the rims were too bouncy and they needed to be checked. It seemed like that carried over all the way through to Phoenix.
But that doesn't make sense to me either, because I thought they were playing where like the Phoenix Mercury play.
I know, but are they using the same equipment?
Rims? Yeah, they might not be
You know?
using the same equipment.
Which is crazy if they're not, because shouldn't it be right there?
You know? Yeah.
Right. They said,
Right.
this is college. We got to do something different. But yeah, it's wild that Maddie Booker went 3 for 23. So for people that aren't aware with basketball, that means she shot 23 shots. She made 3 of them. And she's like Texas's best player.
She's won the small forward of the year award 3 years in a row. Like, this is not an average player.
Yeah, she's a junior. So she does have one more year to make it happen for Texas, but it was a very heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
And then I guess another loss that we were kind of split on was UConn losing to South Carolina. So I had picked UConn in one of my brackets, saying that they were going to win the whole thing. I thought the championship was going to be UConn versus Texas.
Wow.
But South Carolina, they came through. They said, hey, we're going to play the best defense of our lives, and you can't stop us.
And that's the thing about South Carolina. Every tournament, they're going to play the best basketball they've ever played. And I think that's what makes that team so special, because they always show up when they need to. Yes, there are times when they lose during the regular season, but those are losses that are going to help them in the tournament. Those are the losses that are going to help make champions. You know, champions are made during the season when you lose, when you have those upsets, those falls. And so, yeah, I think that they did a great job.
Yeah, I was saying too that like, because UConn was on like a 54 game win streak.
Yes.
And I was saying like, they haven't really faced adversity, and I think when you face adversity and you overcome it, or even when you like lose in the face of adversity, you like gain a lesson and you become better. And they didn't really face any adversity this season, and so when they did, they crumbled.
Exactly. Couldn't learn a lesson from no lessons learned, you know?
Exactly.
And they didn't learn anything during the season. They just kept winning, kept beating people by, I think the average that they beat a team was by 34.8
That's crazy.
points. That's their average of how much they beat other teams.
Yeah.
So
we get to watch UCLA play South Carolina. Us three we went to a couple of Wings games this past season. We went to a Texas versus A&M game where they beat them by 40?
Yes.
Something crazy.
That was wild. Upcoming, we're going to Aces versus Wings in Austin.
To see your namesake.
Yes, to see Asia play, Asia Wilson. So cannot wait for that. I don't know. That's just been something that's been really cool that has bonded all three of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, of course, we've liked women's basketball. And then to bring Sarah into the mix, and she loves women's basketball.
Right. It's been amazing.
It's been really cool to enjoy that together.
Right.
Has that made you like her more?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. We share passions.
Right.
We do.
You do.
Yes, we do.
So excited about that. Let's see. Okay. We also have in common, obviously, the fact that all three of us are bi.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but when I was on Survivor, I had a confessional that didn't make the air, where they asked me about, they were like, hey, you have been so open about so much in your life. Are you also as open with your sexuality? And I was like, it's one of those things where I'm still trying to grow in my confidence and just be able to boldly say that I'm bi. And I was like, my brother is bi and he's so confident and he lives his life so unapologetically. And so just he is him and he knows what he likes, what he doesn't like. And so for me, that's very motivating to kind of look up to my little brother in that way.
Oh,
so
yes, they should have aired that. They should have aired that. I would have cried. That
just
is so
for you.
Oh, I love that. I'm glad I motivate you in that way, because it's hard to kind of want to do that, and you see someone else doing it, it's like, I want to live unapologetically me, you know? I want to be authentically me. So I love that I'm able to like push you to see that. Yeah. I love that. Aw.
And you were one of the first people I came out to.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember.
And I was
that.
like, but it was one of those things where it was like, hey, you know, I'm bi, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna start just dating women all of a sudden. I just want you to know.
Yes, it was. I remember that.
Right.
I was like, okay.
And that was like what, 2020?
That was 2020. Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The pandemic was the time of realizing things about yourself.
It
you know,
was.
Right, I think that was for everyone.
A lot of self-reflection.
So much self-reflection. So yeah. So I thought it would be interesting if we could talk about, you know, what it is like dating as a bisexual person. Mm-hmm. But even with you, I guess just for like context for the people, when did you realize that you were bi, and when did you realize that would be something you could explore with dating?
Mm-hmm. I think I realized it in early high school, maybe late middle school, early high school, around 14-ish age. Maybe that's when I kind of realized I had an attraction to both sexes. But I didn't actually take a chance on it or actually think that it was something I could act on until maybe 15 or 16. So it did take a little bit of time, even after realizing that it was something I could act on. Kind of like the same way when you came out to me at first. You were like, hey, I'm bi, but I'm not dating nobody yet. I'm bi, but I'm not dating nobody yet. That was kind of like me when I was 14. I knew, but I was like, not going to do anything. So I think when I did come out to mom and dad, that did help me want to be more comfortable in saying, okay, now that I feel like I'm free of the burden of telling people, I can actually act on it and like see how it goes.
Okay, so one thing I think is so interesting is that, okay, when I was just identifying as straight, you know, you have a type. Right? You think, okay, this person is my type, or at that time, that this guy is my type. But then when you open up that world to being attracted to men and women, then you're like, what is my type? Is it different for both? So I think it'd be interesting. We all kind of talk through what maybe necessarily is not our type, but what we have gone for typically with men as opposed to women.
Well, I feel like I disagree with like having a type. I've never like, if you lined up every single person that I've dated, you like wouldn't find like a commonality.
Oh, wow.
Like I've dated different genders, nationality, like just different personalities. I think like I'm always attracted to like personality first. And it has varied. I haven't always dated good people, but like I've tried to find like the good people. Yeah.
That's interesting because yes, I agree that if you lined up everyone I've dated, there's no consistency. I think you can agree.
Yeah, absolutely. No consistency.
There's no consistency there. However, that still doesn't change what I'm most attracted to. I would say a lot of times the people I've dated in the past, I've tried to be like, well, let me sacrifice this quality that I'm looking for because, you know, just to see if sometimes you think you're just looking for something, you're looking for what you want as opposed to what you need.
Yeah.
That's deep.
And so I would say for me with guys, I've typically been more attracted to guys that are a little bit more, I guess you could say not dominant because, you know, I am dominant, but someone like, who's confident. I think I am attracted to men and women that are more confident, but I think with men, I would be more attracted to a man who is confident, masculine. And then with women, it's like confident, but feminine.
Okay.
Example A.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's why we talk about our beginnings with the hinge.
Oh yeah.
She tried to come off differently than
confident masculine.
Yeah, she tried to come off confident masculine. I was like, okay, well, let me sacrifice that. And then I saw your Instagram and I was like, wait, you are confident feminine. What is it like for you?
That's interesting. I think for men, usually I'm looking for the opposite and for what I'm looking for in a woman. So in a woman, I'm looking for someone that's like very confident, very strong energy, maybe masculine energy. You could say very more very much more strong, confident. And for guys that I'm dating, I do like more submissive guys. I do like guys that are not as extroverted, guys who aren't as like loud and out there.
That tracks.
And so that's pretty much like the differences between both, I would say. Yeah.
So have you found that you are able to find those qualities in men or women to date as a bisexual man?
I have, but unfortunately, I think it's easier to find what I'm looking for in a guy than it is for me to find what I'm looking for in a girl. Mm-hmm. And that just makes it harder for the, I guess, experience part about it. Because a lot of people say that, oh, if you're bisexual and you're dating a girl, oh, you've picked a side. Or if you're dating a guy, you've picked a side. But I mean, you're always going to be bisexual, and so I think that's a part of it as well. So
yeah, that's such a good point, because I've thought about that too. Does sexuality even matter once you've found your person?
Right.
You know, but I mean, look at us talking about life by us.
Exactly.
With our person. So
right. Well, no, I think it matters, especially like with the bi identity, because a lot of times too, if like a bi person's dating someone of the opposite sex, like that's a hetero presenting relationship. So people are like, oh, you're straight, you're not queer, but it's like, no, you are. So even like with us, we're in like a same-sex relationship, but we're both bi. I think like both sides are important.
Absolutely. And exactly. And that touches on a little bit of like the experience, like attraction versus experience thing. Because I've dated in my adult life more guys than girls, but then in my teen life, I dated more girls than guys. And so it's not that, because people will say, if you're bi and you date mostly girls and you're a girl, oh, you're gay. Mm-hmm. But your attraction is not the same as your experience. Yeah. Like, just because you've experienced this doesn't mean that that's what you're only attracted to, you know? So that's why I say it's like an attraction experience kind of thing, playing hand in hand. But
right. I think that's why I was able to be bi for so long without dating women, because attraction over experience.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I may not have had that experience, but I still knew that, I could acknowledge like, oh my gosh, like she's beautiful. Exactly. Or even that now we'll both see a guy and be like, wow, he's really attractive.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ethan.
Ethan's on.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I guess that touches a little bit on like the bi erasure in the LGBT community, because a lot of people do think, oh, if you're a guy and you're dating a guy, oh, you're gay. Or if you're a girl dating a girl, you're gay, you know? And so just understanding that attraction is lifelong is, I think, very important to understand.
Yeah, and it's the same as, because a lot of people will think, because I've seen a lot on TikTok in relation to, a man and a woman in a, straight presenting relationship, but as soon as the woman comes out as bi, then the man's like, oh, okay, if you want to explore that, go ahead. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where, okay, now you're getting into monogamy versus polygamy.
Exactly.
So,
Polyamory.
Yeah, polyamory.
Yeah.
So if it's you still want to be, just because your attraction is more expansive than someone who is straight, that does not all of a sudden mean that you are more promiscuous or you want to have more partners, because I feel like that's always the assumption, is that just because you're attracted to both genders that, you don't want to, explore more. And you're straight, but do you want to be with more men now that you're married?
Right. And a lot of people think that bisexual people are cheaters, or if you are bisexual, you're going to be more promiscuous or have the ability to cheat just because of the wider pool of people you're attracted to. But that's just not always the case. If you're loyal, you're going to be loyal. I feel like that's always just dependent on the person. But it's not because of your sexuality you're going to be this, or, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely like a character trait. It's not related at all to your attraction to other people.
Yeah, because I've definitely heard it from women who, like, being with a bisexual man, they're like, well, I already have enough competition with women.
Wow.
Where,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Well, I've experienced that too with like dating women, like dating a lesbian. Like she didn't know that I was bi, and she always had that rule of like, oh, I'm not going to date a bi woman.
Sarah, that is such a big thing in the community. That's a huge thing. There's guys that don't want to date bi guys if they're gay, just because, like you're saying, they don't want that competition. They don't want to feel like they're competing with a whole other sex with millions of girls that they have to compete with.
But I'm in my head, I'm like, but shouldn't that make you feel special that I'm attracted to you?
Both sexes, and I still
when I
want
have
you.
Options.
Exactly, I have options, and I want you.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would you say? So we're touching on challenges within dating as bisexual people. So would you say that is the biggest challenge? Are those misconceptions about dating, or is there something else that is a bigger challenge?
I think those misconceptions about bisexuality, bi-erasure, all of those things combined would be the challenges that make it hard. Yeah, I think those would be the challenges. I don't think there's any outside factors out of that make it difficult.
Right. Yeah, because it's difficult. Yeah, now that you mentioned that, yeah, I've gone on a date with like a woman who was lesbian and said like, oh, are you even sure that you are bisexual? Which is kind of the other side of that, being, you know, I guess maybe looking at the standpoint of experience, because like the lack of experience, saying, well, are you sure?
Right.
Because if you're trying to say you're bi, are you really sure you're bi? You're not just straight.
Exactly.
Like who? I mean, there probably are people out there who are just like, let me dabble, and then they realize, wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's more often than not, that's a very small population of people.
And those people, I think, need to be honest and not say that they're bisexual, and need to say that they're figuring their sexuality out.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, if they're figuring it out, testing the waters, trying to figure things out, that's exactly what you're doing. You're figuring your sexuality out. You can't say that you are one thing when you're not completely aware yet. Especially when a lot of bisexual people get hit with the, well, you've dated mostly guys, so are you sure that you're bisexual? You know, and it touches that attraction versus experience thing. And so, yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think sexuality is a spectrum. And even if you're a bi person, like on a scale of 1 to 10 of like straight to gay, not all bi people are 5.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ate that. Exactly.
That's so true. It is it's all a spectrum. And so it's one of those things where we try to say but we've talked about on our podcast when we had Bryce on, that, you know, people in the LGBTQ plus community are not a monolith.
Right.
And the same applies to bisexual people.
Absolutely.
We're not a monolith.
Yes.
The same applies to Black people. You know, we're not a monolith.
Exactly.
Same applies to women.
Yeah.
We're not a monolith. And I guess it's just people group so often when it comes to things they don't know that much about. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad that we can have a conversation like this, so that somebody out there can learn a little bit more.
Absolutely.
About, you know, bisexual people in the LGBTQ plus community and things like that. So what would you say is there a like biggest perk of dating as a bisexual person? Like, does that make you more open? Does that make it seem like you are, you know, someone who is really honest from the start, you know, when you're dating? What is their biggest perk? I mean, there could be none, but
is there a biggest perk? I do like to say I'm very open. I don't know if that's a perk, but it is something that could be seen as a strength from other people, that I am just very open. I'm very honest about my sexuality whenever people ask. And I do think it's something that can make a difference. I have had an experience of dating guys, girls, people who are transgender. I've dated a lot of different types of people. So, I don't know. I think it is a perk just being that open and able to honestly connect with anyone, you know? Because if you don't have that openness to connect with anyone, that's not as fun. But, but yeah, I guess that would probably be my one perk, I would say.
Yeah. Because I would think, I could think of a perk as it allows us to learn so much more, because you learn so much about yourself through dating, but you also get to learn so much about other people. Yeah. And I love learning about other people because it's just really interesting learning how people became who they are, because so much of our life experiences shape who we are, what we do, what we're motivated by. And so I think the fact that, you know, the three of us are open to dating double the population.
Everybody, basically.
It just gives us that opportunity to not really put ourselves in a box.
Yeah, I think like being bi, that automatically makes you more open to like the opportunity to date like a bunch of different people. Like I think that goes back to me talking about like I don't really have a type. I think like being bi, I'm like just open to like connection with like genuine humans.
Yeah, and I think even if we go back to the types that I was talking about, I think that's because we are bisexual, that allows us to be a little bit more lenient on not having a type, for one. And then also, like I said, okay, I'm more attracted to a specific type of woman. That's what made me more open to more Hinge profiles than what I was without just swiping right on just that initial like, hey, this is my criteria. I'm like, oh, well, let me just see what, you know, because of that lack of experience, for one, it was like, well, maybe I just didn't know what I needed. But all turns out you were my type.
Yes.
So
how open are you really?
Right. Pretty boxed in.
Right.
And so for people out there who are single and maybe bi, what would you say is the most reliable, like as a single guy right now, what would you say is the most reliable dating apps to try?
Hinge is definitely the most reliable out of all the dating apps. Hinge is you get quality people on Hinge.
Yes.
Quality people. Tinder is a lot of fake bots. There's a lot of profiles that you might message, you may never hear from again. I feel like everybody on Hinge wants the same thing for the most part. They want to have a connection. They want to build a connection with someone in some facet. So I think Hinge is a great app.
I mean, we met on Hinge, so I think you're onto something.
The proof is in the pudding.
See?
This is not an ad, but it could be.
Please sponsor us.
Right. The app designed to be deleted.
Exactly.
I think, did we delete it together?
We did.
We did.
That's so romantic. I love that.
Like, let's just do it together.
So intentional.
We don't need
so
it anymore. After screen recording our whole conversation.
Yes, we needed the transcript.
Oh, yeah, you need those.
Yes.
Receipts.
Exactly. And so, yes, lastly, what do you have any advice for anyone dating as a bisexual man?
Yes, I would say don't box yourself in. There's a lot of people that are going to tell you things that you may not agree with, and you don't have to listen to them. Just because someone says you have to date 2 girls and 2 guys in order to be bisexual, that is not, you don't have to do that.
Imagine.
You do not have to do that.
You can only qualify.
Right. It has equal number.
Yes.
Equal numbers, guys. Like, no, do not listen to them. I would say being bisexual, you definitely have to march at the beat of your own drum.
Yes.
Because in the community, you are one of the few. You are one of the, I guess, less seen groups of the LGBTQ. So definitely march at the beat of your own drum. Be confident in what you want and take time to figure out what you want. Because I think when I say don't box yourself in, I mean it's hard to have a type when you're bisexual. It's very hard when you're dating both sexes, all different types of people. Yeah, definitely just try. I would say just try. Don't be afraid, because that is something that you can easily be when you're bisexual. You could be afraid and say, well, I'll just date guys, or I'll just date girls, because it's easier. It's easier to be just say, oh, I'm gay. It's so much easier to say I'm gay or I'm straight. So definitely try. Just try. Put yourself out there, because fear is not going to do anything but hold you back. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, because if you say you're bi, it feels like you automatically have to justify why. You have to justify why both. Right. Because if you say, I feel like it's more of a question than if someone were to say, oh, I'm straight or I'm gay. And it's like, you're bi. Oh, what makes you think you're bi? Let's talk about your exes. Right. Well, what advice do you, Sarah, have for bisexual women dating?
I mean, I guess this is applicable to everyone who like identifies as bi. Is like, if you only date the person of your gender, or you only date the person of the opposite gender, you are still valid in your bisexuality. Yeah, I feel like that is invalidated enough in the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because let's be real. You are the one that knows yourself the best. So don't let anybody out there try to define who you are just because of what they observe.
Exactly. Like I said, attraction over experience. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean you're not attracted to it. Doesn't mean that you don't have interest in it.
Exactly. Well, this has been a very fruitful conversation. Yes. You made such a good point, Aston, about just you have to march to the beat of your own drum, because I even saw something today with us recording this on Easter. I saw something about, you know how bold someone has to be in the LGBTQ plus community and also be Christian.
Extremely bold.
That's something we all also have in common.
Exactly.
We went to church together this morning. It was great. We got to show Aston our very affirming church. Very affirming. And have a good time there. But you know, there's so much in this world. There's so many people that are trying to define you and your the qualities about yourself, but then also trying to force you to believe other things about other people. So
yeah. And that brings me to my quote, because you both have shared quotes today. My quote that I like to live by is, you do you, boo-boo. Stay in your lane. Like, stop concerning yourself with other folks and just do you.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly. So one thing we like to end the podcast with is, what are you listening to right now?
Something that I was put on to was Don Toliver's new album. I have been listening to that. I got put on a few songs by Aysha, but something else I've been listening to, Summer Walker's album has been insane. She's coming to Dallas soon, so I need to go see her. Kali Uchis has a really good album, and Mariah the Scientist. And then, what's one more thing I've been listening to? I think that might be it. Oh, Alex Isley dropped an album, and it's so good. If you like really chill, vibey R&B, it's so good. You're going to love it. Definitely late night car ride type vibe music. So beautiful.
Love it. Yeah, I unfortunately have to say I still have Don Toliver on repeat. I have not moved on. I did say that I wanted to listen to Ray's new album. Have I made it there? No, because I'm still have Don Toliver on repeat. So,
yeah, and I'm still on my Celine Dion kick.
Oh,
still probably forever and always. But then also Don Toliver Against My Will. I've been listening to
by force.
Right. Yes, listen. If I'm driving, that's what I want to listen to. Okay, Aston, what are you watching? What's something you've watched that you may want to put other people on to this week?
Heartbreak Academy is very good. It's a show, it's like coming of age. It's about Australians in high school. It's so good. A lot of drama that's so applicable to adults. It's not Euphoria vibes, but kind of in the way that they're kind of dealing with adult issues as teens. And so it's really good, really good.
Speaking of Euphoria, isn't that coming back this week?
It is, actually.
Is it tonight?
Is it tonight?
Is it like April 5th? I thought it was something soonish.
Yeah. It's something very soon.
Yeah.
Wow. Definitely
Wow.
gotta get in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's what I will be watching is Euphoria. I need to watch some type of recap because it's been years. So I don't. What happened last season? I don't know.
I do need to watch a recap.
Rue. Yeah, I don't know what she did.
Because let's be clear, last season was like 7 years ago.
Exactly.
So
There's been way too much time passed. But I'm trying to think what else I'm watching. I'm still trying to finish Bridgerton. We went to Atlanta, and the flights were purely used for sleep. It wasn't I get to knock out a book I've been working on. I can watch some shows. No, I was knocked out from before takeoff to landing. So, still trying to finish Bridgerton, and we're still watching I Kissed a Girl. Did you watch I Kissed a Boy?
no, I don't think I have.
It's on
Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. Okay.
Yeah, first season was I Kissed a Boy, second season I Kissed a Girl, and they're coming back with a season 3.
I might look at that.
Yeah, I guess I haven't watched much of anything this week. I think the only piece of content, besides basketball, the only piece of content that I've watched was the latest episode of Survivor. It's probably like the second worst episode of Survivor because, spoiler alert, Genevieve went home. Super bummed about that. So I don't know, with the remaining people, with the exception of maybe like Suri, things aren't looking good. Things are not looking good. I might tap out, I'm not gonna lie.
Tap out.
Yeah, she's gonna just force me to continue watching and be like, who went home this week?
With the exception of when we go to Bryson Wynn, I'll
Yes.
watch that episode.
We are going to Bryson Wynn, Austin, so that's the first week in May, so you can catch us there. But that's probably the only other watch party we'll go to. Maybe stop by the Houston watch party at some point, but no other big travels for this season. All right. Well, Aston, this has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you if they want to see your content?
You can find my Instagram. It's just my name, Aston.Welch. And then from there, you can also see my fitness page. It's in my bio, so you can see my fitness stuff. I also have a TikTok, Aston DW. I post some fitness content on there, some funny stuff as well. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. What about you?
I just have to get this out because as soon as you said DW, I was thinking Dora Winifred from Arthur.
Oh,
yeah. DW, yeah.
DW.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at SJ Menzel. And if you like hair content, I'm on Instagram at Sheared by Sarah. If you're in Houston, come by, let me cut your hair.
Get a fade, get a fresh fade.
She's really good. I wouldn't be recommending all my friends, boyfriends, fiancés, and husbands to you if you weren't so good. Even my friends' wives. Yeah. You did a great job on Victoria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
did. You did.
Y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Right now, over on RHAP, we just wrapped up our coverage of Age of Attraction. So Jason and I talked about the finale and the reunion in one podcast. The reunion came out on YouTube on the Vow Files. And we talked about it so you don't have to watch it. You can also find me talking about Married at First Sight over on the A Perfect Match podcast Patreon. Jason and I are wrapping up season 10 of Married at First Sight, and then we'll hopefully get some interviews and dive into our next rewatch. So you can find that at patreon.com/A Perfect Match podcast. And yeah, that's all I got going on right now. And thank you again, Aston, for joining us. This is great. This is our first time podcasting together.
Yes.
So loved getting to talk to you on a podcast. Get your undivided attention for an hour.
Yeah.
And all right, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.